Hi there, welcome to the channel. Today I've got a lovely project to share with you. I'll be showing you exactly how to draw this adorable Jack Russell Terrier from start to finish. I'll guide you through every line and every shape, nice and slow, so that you can draw along with me. So grab your pencils, get comfy, and let's get started. Okay, so we are nearly there with this little project, aren't we? We've just got to put some definition into his mouth, bring his jaw down, put a little bit of fur into his neck, and then we're going to call it finished. Before I move on to that today though, I just want to explain a couple of things that I'm going to do to the face. When I turned the camera off after the last video, I realised that actually I needed to make this cheek a little bit more of a peach colour. We put the burnt ochre down, if you remember, so I'd got the orange, I think I'd got the cream in there as well, or the ivory pencil from the polychromos. I wanted to make it a little bit more peach, so the way that I do that is to put a little bit of pink into the orange, into the burnt ochre colour, and that creates the peachiness that I want. Now I used the cinnamon, and all I did was just go over the space. We worked on this cheek last time. I just went over the space with a really, really light glaze. I just used little circular strokes, perhaps little directional strokes around here where I needed to sort of shape the curve of the cheek there, and a little bit round here. And I just put a glaze of the cinnamon, and that just brought a bit more of a peachy feel into the cheek. I just felt that it was a bit cream and not so peach that I wanted. I wanted it to be a little bit more of a peach colour, so that's what I did. So I just wanted to explain that. I did that bit. The other thing that I am going to do before I move on to the neck, and again it's something that I forgot to do in the previous video when we were working on the nose. There's a shadow coming down here. It comes out from just about the side of the eye and it works down towards just on the side of the nose here. So I'm going to use the Cold Grey 5 and I'm going to bring a little bit more of this shadow in. Now I've got to do it really, really gently, really lightly. We've already looked at how we get the darker negative bits of fur into this light space so that we can build up the light fur. So I'm going to carry on with that process of working with really, really light pressure, just little taps into the side of the cheek, but you can see that it's bringing in this shadow that's just coming down this nose. Just want to tap that in and get that coming down there. That's it. It's better already. I will keep working on that just a little bit, and I'll make sure that it blends in quite nicely with the side of the face. I don't want any harsh lines there, but it's just a little tap of the pencil to get a slightly darker shadow. And it's just sort of working over the top of the nose that works around, the nose that comes around here. There we go. And then let's just take that out. It's very small. It's a very small amount of pigment that's going down. I'll just keep working over and over it. I definitely don't want to make this pencil too strong or I'm going to lose the softness that I've built into the rest of the portrait. So there we go. That's better already. That's probably all I need. I may need to come back and just adjust it, but that will do for the minute. I'll be able to have a look at that now and decide whether I need to make it stronger as I'm working on the rest of the jaw and the neck. But I just needed to bring that in to shape the top of that nose. That nose was looking very wide, and that's because I didn't have this shadow here. So that's a really good example actually of how the darker values can shape an area. It's just sort of now shaped the top of the nose there, which is what I wanted to do. There we go. I'm going to leave that like that, and we're going to work down on the bottom bit down here. Let's have a look at this little bit down here. Let's have a look at this mouth. I want to just dab in an eraser to get rid of some of those graphite lines on the bottom. We've got a little triangle right on the bottom here, which has still got quite a bit of orange in it, and I didn't work all the way down to here. So I'm going to go in with the ivory pencil from the polychromos, and I'm going to put a base layer into just this little corner here where the mouth comes up to. It's going to go quite dark in there. I'm going to go in with a brown colour, but I need to get a bit of base in because the dark is actually working into the orange fur. So I've got to get some of that orange fur in there first. Let's just get a bit of ivory on there as well. And then I'm going to use the burnt ochre. And this time I'm going to put the pencil down with directional strokes. I want to lift the pencil off at the end of the pencil stroke. If we come back to this piece of paper here that we've been using throughout, I want to just sort of flick the pencil off at the end of the pencil stroke. And I'll work both ways. So sometimes I'll make the pencil go upwards and sometimes I'll make the pencil come downwards. And that way I get a nice little wispy bit on both sides of the pencil. Both sides of the pencil stroke. So let's work this over the top here. Let's just get that in, remembering to follow the curve of the cheek, just working along the sides. There we go, just filling in that little bit of the triangle that I didn't do last time. And then I'm going to use the dark sepia from the Polychromos range, and I want to again use the same pencil stroke, so working around in a curve and flicking the pencil off at the end. I want to just bring in the dark bit right on the edge of this mouth. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on. I want to keep those pencil strokes really light in terms of pressure. I've got a nice sharp pencil because I want to sort of keep control of the space. I want to keep it a little bit controlled. I want to get a little bit of refined detail in here, so I'm keeping that pencil fairly sharp but not pressing on hard with it. There we go, so we've got a little bit of the dark sepia in there, and I'm also going to bring in a bit of the Payne's grey, and I'm going to work over it again and just darken down along this line and very gently just bring the edge of the mouth, because obviously the line of the mouth is actually coming around here. Now in the middle here you can't really see the mouth. It sort of works here, it starts here and then it comes around, and then we see a little bit more of it around here. So that's what I'm trying to do, just really gently tapping the pencil to get the shape of this mouth right on the edge there. And then this is the warm grey 2 from the Polychromos. It's quite a small pencil now, but I'm just going to bring a little bit of depth over this side of that muzzle. Again, just tapping that pencil in really lightly. It looks like there's hardly anything coming off the end of the pencil, and that's because, you know, there really isn't much coming off the end of the pencil, but there is something, and it's just shaping and colouring this muzzle in a way that is nice and soft and subtle. So there we go. I'm also going to bring this warm grey 2 under the chin around here. Just get some depth in there. I'm going to come back to the cold grey 5, and I want to darken down right under this top lip. So I'm just going to run the pencil back into this top lip to just refine it. I'm just using backwards and forward strokes, just little colouring strokes to just get that pencil in there. Remembering that when I work on the top lip, I want to just sort of push that pencil up to get a feathered effect up on the top lip. So where I've got quite a solid colour here, I'll just use sort of colouring strokes, but then when I want to feather it out a little bit, I'm just going to push that pencil as if I'm pushing it under that top lip. Just push it up and under that top lip. I've just sharpened my pencil because I need it to be a little bit more refined. I need the pencil strokes to be a bit more refined here. So let's get a bit of this coal grey 5. It follows around the shape. We've still got the lip there. It's just that we're not really seeing it. So, but I still want to get a little bit of these darker pencil strokes in to build a little bit of volume into the lighter fur, basically building the lighter fur, but in a really, really subtle way. So all I'm doing is just tapping. And don't worry if you feel that nothing is coming off the end of that pencil, because something is coming off the end of the pencil. And as you build that up slowly, layer by layer by layer, it will give you the softness that you want in your fur. You don't have to always see the pencil coming off or the pigment coming off the end of the pencil with just one stroke of the pencil. Just it is coming off, and it will build up slowly. And that's how you can build those subtle layers and that subtle fur on the dog. So I'm just working over this space because I obviously need to darken down this nose under here. I want to make sure that I keep some of the white of the raw paper or the lighter layers that we've already put down. The warm grey one that we put down much earlier in the project. I want to make sure that that comes through. So I'm not looking to get a solid colour. I'm looking to just let some of that, I'm looking to let some of those underlayers show through. And maybe just the raw paper, the white of the paper, that will also be helpful when I'm creating this white fur. I don't always have to completely cover all of the paper with the pencil. So I'm just dotting in a little bit of texture. And I'm not pressing on any harder when I want the pencil strokes to get dark. You can see as I was working around here, I wasn't pressing on any harder. I just go over and over that space with the same pressure. And that builds in the texture, because you can see there, you know, we're building in the little lighter bits, the darker bits, and that's building in the texture. I just want to bring a little bit of it around here as well. And just carry that mouth one a little bit into the whiter space. I've got a feeling I'm going to come back and darken this bit here. But I'm not going to do it just yet. I'm going to leave it for a minute, and then I'm going to come back and have a look at it. Whilst I've got the coal grey pencil around here though, I'm always looking for other areas that I can use this pencil whilst I've got it in my hand, and I'm just going to get a little bit of it right on the edge here. Just to blend the orange and the lighter colours a little bit, and put a bit of texture into that lighter bit as well. Just put a bit of texture into the edge, remembering it's just got to tip over around here, again on the edge of the nose. So I'm just tipping that pencil over as if I was actually running it over the nose, so it's going to curve over the top of that nose, and that's what I want to do. There we go. I'm going to use this coal grey 5 as well and start to shape the lip that comes out underneath this dark patch. So I want to use little curved strokes to shape the bottom of this lip. There's still quite a lot of white showing through the bottom of that lip, so I don't want to put too much in. Just want to tap that pencil in and get a slightly darker bit right at the bottom of this shape. We've got this long shape that runs along here, so I'm just looking for the darker bit right at the bottom of the shape to just suggest that there is a lip there. That will pretty much do, certainly for the minute. There we go. I will just come back in with the Payne's Grey, and I'm going to make this just a little bit darker right in the middle. So I can run the Payne's Grey pencil into that dark patch. I don't need to take it up into the top lip like we did before, because I can leave the coal grey to do its work there. I just want to darken right down in the really dark bit of that lip. And just tap it along that lip there. There we go. That will do, I think. Okay, let's have a look at the neck underneath the dog's face, and we're pretty much there now. I want to take out the graphite lines. I've just taken out the graphite lines down there because we've got this sort of triangle, this very long triangle of a really sort of warm, quite a light warm grey colour. So I'm going to use the warm grey too, and I'm holding the pencil tipped over on the side because I don't want any really strong lines in this neck. I want to keep it all very subtle, so I should be working with my pencil tipped over for quite a lot of the neck. It's not going to take long to do because I don't want to put much in here, but I want to keep it nice and subtle. So I'm just working on this lovely light grey, this warm grey 2 triangle. It's sort of where the neck comes down here, isn't it? And then let's have a look. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to this bit here because this will be quite a dark bit, and then you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to take my pencil lines out. I'm just going to brush it off with a brush, and I'm going to. This is the Coal Grey 3 from the Polychromos. I'm not going to use a base layer at the minute for this. What I'm going to do is very, very gently just work out under this chin. So we've got the chin here, and I'm going to work out with really, really light pencil strokes, working out in a curve. It's this little dark bit that's running down under the chin. Now it's really important that we get a really, really light pressure with the pencil, because I'm going to want to blend this, and I'm going to want to push this pencil around. And if it's really light, if I've put it down with light pressure, it means it's going to sit on the surface of the tooth of the paper, and it means that I'm going to be able to move it around. If I've pressed on really, really hard, it means that I'm not going to be able to move it. I'm just taking these pencil lines out here as well because they're just going to get in the way. Let's work out this way as well, really light. So all I'm doing is just tapping the pencil onto the paper, and it's just the weight of the pencil really that is creating this fur. Working out from this main bit that's quite dark. I don't need to get it as dark as it needs to go. I can go back in and darken that down. What I want to do is just to get some really light sweeps of the pencil. Working out this way and working out that way. And the pencil is going down. It's probably so light that you can't really see it, but the pencil is going down. Let's carry on under here as well. So I'm just going to work under this chin. Really, really light pressure. I'm lengthening my pencil strokes a little bit because obviously the fur's longer around here. So I want to lengthen those pencil strokes. We want the paper to show through underneath. I don't want to completely fill in this paper. So you can just about see the pencil that's going down. It looks a little bit darker actually on the drawing board. It looks a bit lighter, certainly on the screen that I'm looking at it on. The video recording, it looks lighter, but it is a little bit darker than that. Same on this side. I'm going to come back to this side. And it does look really light because it is really light, but if I put any more pressure down than this, I'm not going to be able to move it around too much. I'm not going to be able to blend it too much. I'm going to come back to this warm grey too, and I'm going to bring just down the side of the neck down here. So we've got this this triangle here, and then we've actually got this lovely sweep of quite a warm colour again. So I'm going to use the warm grey too and tipped over on its side, and I'm going to just sweep that pencil in. I'm not taking my pencil off the paper, I'm just sweeping that pencil around. We've got to leave a bit of a gap though between the edge of what we're putting in at the minute and this triangle that we've already put in, because there's a bit of light that's catching there. So I'm just bringing it around really, really gently. The pencil pressure that we're using here, I mean, we use light pencil pressure everywhere, but this is even lighter now. So it could be that if you're finding your pencil strokes are a little bit strong, perhaps go back to a piece of paper and just have a practice on it. I'm just running the pencil over this cold grey that I put in as well, just to blend it a little bit. I'm just going to go down to back there. I'm not going to go much further than that. I've also just got a little bit, I'm just going to put the suggestion of the shoulder in around here. Again, still with this warm grey too. Just put that suggestion in. I don't really want to put much in, so I'm just curving that around to suggest that shoulder there. That's all it's going to need. I can also see that there is a shape on this side around here, so I'm just looking for these shapes. I'm leaving some of the pencil lines in so you can see where I'm working, but I'm just looking for the shapes. There's a bit of a shape around there on the other side of the neck. There we go. I want to blend what I've done, and I'm going to blend with the cold grey one. Even though there is some warm grey in here, I'm going to come in with the cold grey certainly first, and I'm going to work under this chin. I've got the pencil tipped over again, and you can see that you don't always need to go in with a really, really heavy colour. This is the cold grey one, and it's quite a strong colour to just shape the bottom of that jaw. There's quite a lot of colour going down to just shape the bottom of that jaw. I will go and darken it a little bit, but it's still putting down quite a bit of colour to get the shape into the bottom of that jaw. And I'm just looking for shapes, that's all. I'm not trying to draw individual hairs, I'm just looking for the shapes. I'm going to bring a little bit of the cold grey around here as well. Now I'm putting it over the warm grey, and that's fine. It's just creating another shade of grey for me. It's just tipping that temperature back towards a slightly cooler grey. We can mix the warms and the grey colours, that's fine. To act, you know, to create a different temperature. I'm also just going to bring the pencil in around here and also on this side. I'm going to take out these graphite lines. And under here, whilst I've got this pencil, I'm going to bring this shape in around here as well. We've got this slightly darker bit that's just coming from the shoulder on the other side. So I'm going to get that in with the cold grey one, just because I've got the pencil in my hand. So I might as well use it. There we go. And I don't want to put too much in on the other side. I just want to get a suggestion of that shoulder on the other side. That's probably pretty much it. I'll just leave that like that. I'll darken it, but that's as far as I'm going to go with the drawing, just to get that suggestion of the shoulder. So you can see that it's just shapes. We're not really looking to draw any fur. We're not looking to get any detail in. We're not looking to draw any individual hairs. We're not looking to get any detail in. We're just looking for some shapes to just create a bit of structure on this neck. I'm going to just bring a little bit around here as well. Just to get that shoulder in there. Okay, so we've got the base of the neck in there. What I want to do now is to go back and darken it down again. I'm going to come back to my Cold Grey 5 and I'm going to work into it again with really, really light pencil strokes and pick out some of the darker bits. Now it is just the weight of the pencil that is putting this pencil on the paper. I'm not pressing on hard, it's just a case of gliding that pencil backwards and forwards over the paper to get these shapes in. As I come to the bottom of the jaw, I am going to just push that pencil up and into that upper lip again, because I want it to look like there's some wispy bits right on the edge of the jaw there. So I'm just going to push the pencil up. That creates a nice little broken edge. And then get a darker shape there that I can see. Just looking for these shadows, that's all I'm doing. I'm also going to bring a little bit of this Cold Grey 5 around the jaw around here. Again, as I get to the edge of the jaw, I'm just tapping that pencil up. So I'm tapping it up and into the jaw to create some wispy bits. So it looks like we've got little hairs coming over from the jaw and onto the neck. And I'm concentrating the pencil along the bottom of the jaw because I need to make sure that that jaw's quite pronounced. I need to make sure that what's underneath is a little bit darker. It's adding the darker pencil down onto the neck that is actually going to shape the jaw for us. And it's definitely a case of doing a little bit, taking a step back, having a look at it, you know, maybe doing a bit more, because we don't want it to get too dark. We don't want it to get too strong. We don't want to lose that softness. I'm just sweeping these pencil strokes around so that they sweep around this lovely fluffy bit that he's got on his neck here. It's sort of longer fur on his neck, isn't it? And if I want to make a little bit darker, I won't press on anymore. I'm just running the pencil back over the same pencil line, really. Just running that pencil backwards and forwards over that same pencil line, and that helps to build in some of these darker bits of fur, but in a really, really light way. Got to make sure that I get the darker bits going this way. It's obviously darker right where those two sides of the fur meet. So I'm just going to concentrate the pencil there for a minute. I still want the pencil to go down really light because I want to be able to blend it. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that softness of the pressure. I'm just going to run this cold grey 5 just down the left hand side of this triangle that we put in first of all with the warm grey one. Just darken down that a little bit, and then just looking for those shapes. I'm just suggesting some of the direction of the fur, some of the contrast that we can see, but it's a really subtle suggestion. So I've got some of the dark bits in. I'm going to blend again in a minute, but before I do that, I just want to bring a few highlights through with my eraser. So I'm just going to drag that through. Pull out a few highlights. You could use a kneadable eraser for this. You could use any eraser that you've got. It doesn't have to be a particular eraser. Any eraser you've got. This happens to be a Tombow Mono Zero eraser. And this happens to have the rectangle end, but I've also got one that's got the round end, and you know, that's just as good as well. It's just whatever I pick up first, to be honest. And then I'm going to use the warm grey one, and I'm going to blend again with the warm grey one. Bring it over this side. I'm just going to go into the burnt ochre actually, because I've realised I need to bring a little bit of burnt ochre under this mouth around here. A few little wispy bits as well. So I'll bring that in. And I'm just gently running the pencil over and just blending what's here. We're not going to need too much on the neck. We're not going to need to put too much into the neck because we don't want to take away. We want this to be really desaturated. We want it to be quite fuzzy so that it doesn't take away from the face. So we want to keep this really soft, keep the edges soft. I'm using this really to blend a little bit, but also just to fill in the last bits of grain. I'm almost there with it, apart from adding a few whiskers. I am just going to come in with the cold grey 3 and darken down where I just need to bring a little bit of a darker suggestion of the fur back in. But obviously the cold grey 3 is going to be a lot more subtle than the cold grey 5 now. I'm just going to darken down under this chin again, make sure that's nice and dark. This is back to the cold grey 5. It's a case of getting this lovely little direction change of the fur there. That will do, I think. I could work on this some more. I could, you know, refine it. I'd still work on it with really light layers, but I'm quite happy with where it is for the tutorial. So I'm going to probably just leave that there. So the only thing that I really want to do now is to add in some whiskers. So let's add some of the lighter ones in first. You could use a slice tool or a craft knife to take some of the light bits off. I'm just going to use a little bit of tape. This is the the 3M Scotch tape, which if I just show you this, it is quite a translucent piece of tape, so you can see through it, you can see where you're going. And I've just got mine on a little bit of plastic. This bit of plastic came off the front of a magazine. I cut a hole in it and it just holds it. Otherwise, I find if I don't hold it on a piece of plastic like that, if I just use the tape straight off the roll, even if I take the tacky off the back, the sticky off the back, and I would definitely suggest you do that, I find when I hold it over the top to draw on, to remove out the pigment underneath to make the whiskers, I find this tape just sort of snaps to the paper, it sticks to the paper and it pulls off a lot more pigment than I want to actually pull off. So I find that just putting it on this little bit of plastic, it just sort of holds it off the paper a little bit. And then all I'm going to do is position it where I want it to go, and with a really sharp pencil I'm going to just draw a couple of little whiskers over the top. So let's just draw a couple more. They'll look quite sort of quite rough and quite sketchy when you first put them in, but it's quite easy to refine them. There we go, we've got a few around there. I do want to do this one around here, so let's just do that one. I've got that little one there. That's probably pretty much it for the white whiskers. Let's just put a couple over the mouth there. And then I'm going to take my warm grey 5 and bring in some of the slightly stronger whiskers. Don't want to press on hard. And it's a case of once you sort of go for the whisker, once you decide that you're going to go, just keep going. We're sort of flicking the pencil along the whisker and flicking it off at the end to get the wispy bit. If you find that your whisker doesn't work, I wouldn't try and go over it again. I'd just move on and do another whisker. Otherwise it can look a little bit uneven and not that natural. I'm going to work in with the warm grey 2 over this side, and I'm going to bring some whiskers in over here. So I tend to hold the pencil a little bit further back when I'm putting in whiskers, because it gives me a much more sort of natural curve. So I find that it's easier to work with the pencil when I'm holding it just a little bit further back. Just getting some whiskers in around here. There we go. We've got a whisker that's coming out, or more like an eyelash. So we've got a few whiskers that are coming out around here. I'm going to put those in. I'm going to put one in with the slightly darker pencil as well. So let's just put that one in. There we go. Let's just get a few of those in. And then I'm going to use my dark sepia to bring a few whiskers right up on the top of here. Don't want to press on hard. Bring a few of those whiskers in. And on this side as well. So let's just bring those in. There we go. That will pretty much do, I think. Let's just tidy up a few of the whiskers that we've put in. So I'm just going to tidy up the ones that I put in with the tape. Just run a pencil over them to just soften them. And then, for instance, this one's got quite a strong edge, so I'm just going to run the burnt ochre pencil over the edge of that one. And there we go. I'm going to leave that like that. I'm just using the cold grey one to just make sure that things are just a little bit blended, going over. Again, it's a small pencil, so I've got it over on its side, but I'm just sort of blending and taking out any bits of grain. Just want to make sure that it all looks nice and blended, make sure that it all looks soft. And yeah, I'm going to leave that there. So I really, really hope that you have enjoyed drawing this little Jack Russell project with me. If you have, I'd be really grateful if you could give it a like, if you could leave a comment and let me know that you've enjoyed it, or any questions that you've got about it. Share it with your friends. That would be great, because that helps YouTube to know that people have actually enjoyed this project, and it allows more people to see it. And that then tells me that people like it and they want to see more. So that would be great if you could do that. Like I say, if you've got any questions, then leave them in the comments anyway. I'm happy to help, and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. But for now, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.